Like, I always knew that the moment I finished high school, I would leave the country because that was just the safest thing to do. You need to feel your feelings in order to really heal and then move forward. If you just ignore them, they're still gonna be there and they're gonna show up in different ways. The first month or so, I was like crying constantly because I was like, no one understands me. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
I was always tired. I was always just basically just dragging through life. I never even took the time to cry. You just have to choose to believe. Trust that everything that you want is there for you, that's the case. Just believe it. I would say just really work on believing in yourself and believing that the things that you want are there for you, because if you don't believe, then who will?
Welcome.
Welcome, Cece.
Thank you. Thank you,
for coming.
guys.
We know you left home at 16 to flee dictatorship, and
Pretty much, yeah.
learnt four languages. So you're quadlingual, if that's a word.
Polyglot. That's the word,
Yep,
yeah.
okay. And you've gone from finances to breathwork.
Yeah, I
So
have.
before we get into all that, though, do you want to let us know a little bit about your childhood and what life was like in Venezuela?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm originally from Venezuela. I grew up there until I was 16. And to be honest, like I remember having a pretty good childhood. I did move around quite a bit, but the whole political situation wasn't really something that I had in mind, like all the time. I just had a normal childhood, and then
Just for some perspective, just a really light rundown. What was the situation? Because I have no idea.
yeah, so basically Venezuela, that's like a long story, but I'll try and make it super short.
Make it short.
But basically, Chavez, who was the president at the time, he took power in like 1999, and everything went from like socialism, then communism, and then things started to change, and he started to change the constitution in order to basically continue in power, which was something that you couldn't do. It was outside of the constitution. So yeah, things started to change, and everything was under the government powers. Basically, it started being more unsafe. Politically, you could express less and less your opinion if you were against the government. And yeah, my mom was working in the government, so she was in politics, but against the government. So that was an issue, and yeah, it just started getting unsafe. And like, I always knew that the moment I finished high school, I would leave the country because that was just the safest thing to do. And so I did.
So when you left at 16, did you leave alone or with your parents?
I left by myself.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did an exchange year. So basically I went to Belgium and I did a year in a Belgian high school. And that year I was learning French and going to this like school with all these Belgian people, and I didn't even speak the language. Like the first month or so, I was like crying constantly because I was like, no one understands me. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
But I'm very like happy that I kept going because I had the most amazing experience. It was so fun. And then I finished high school and I started uni in Belgium.
At 16, I can only speak for myself, but I was still somewhat very dependent on my family and my home.
Yeah.
Was your relationship good with your family? Do you have siblings? Like for me, it seems very like a big decision for me to make as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Did you have siblings? Was your relationship with your parents good?
I have a great relationship with my mom, and I don't have siblings, so I'm only child. So I guess that part was a little bit easier because I didn't have any.
Yeah.
But all of my friends are like, we're like family. Like we're a very strong group of friendship. And I don't know if it's because I'm an only child, but friendships have always been so important for me. I really value the people that are close to me. So yeah, no, it definitely wasn't a decision that I made by myself. Like my mom definitely encouraged it. Like if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't have had to do it. But she encouraged me to do it. And I always wanted to learn another language. And initially I was gonna go to Canada because I wanted to like be better with my English. But then she was like, well, you kind of already know English, so let's do another language. And yeah, that's kind of the way it went. But
Wow.
it was a big change because I think from 16 to 21, those are years that you're developing still. So when it comes to culture, like I'm from Venezuela, but I feel very mixed, like global kind of thing, because a lot of my ways of being also come from my Belgian, like not upbringing, but the time that I spent there, for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
How long were you there for?
about 4 years. So yeah, 16 to.
And what were you studying while you were there?
So yeah, I did the exchange, and then I finished school, and then I started, like, I actually really had a good time that year, and I was like, actually, I could live here like longer. So I started applying for uni, and I got accepted at this uni I really wanted to go, and I did modern languages. So that's how I learned the other languages, basically. So I was doing, like, my base subjects were in French, and then I was doing English and Italian. So I had subjects in Italian and subjects in English, and it was a bit of a mix.
So when you're learning languages, is it literally like language classes, or is it just normal classes in a different language?
No, it's like a bit of both. So we did have like grammar classes, but we also had a lot of literature. So this career would be very much like languages and literature. So I had to read like things in Old English or Old French, which made it so hard because the first year I was like learning French. And one thing is to be able to speak it, but another thing is to go to uni in that language. So that first year of uni was quite challenging. Yeah. But also very fun.
Yeah. So you obviously had a really good time in Belgium, but did you face challenges in that time? I'm sure it would have been so hard for your parents, being an only child, to have you leave.
To be honest, I think, as I said, like the first month was like really hard, but I think overall it was definitely more difficult for my mom than it was to me, because it's only the two of us. Like my dad was kind of in and out of the picture. Like we lived in the same city, but I saw him maybe once a year or something like that. They were separated, so I didn't. Since I was a kid, they were always separated. So I think for my mom was definitely a lot more difficult. But I always tried to do my best to go and see her as often as I could. So
you were still flying back and forth?
When I was in Belgium, she was actually coming to see me, like maybe once a year.
Oh, only once a year.
Yeah, I've never seen my mom more than once a year since I moved out of Venezuela.
God.
Yeah.
So how long?
Once a year is pretty good. Like the average is like a year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but you kind of get used to it in a way. Like we have a very good relationship and we communicate all the time. It's not like,
But being 16 in another country, like who was looking after you? How do you get around?
Yeah.
Where were you living?
You become very independent very early. You do. And that's why sometimes I feel like I struggle to maybe not connect, but understand certain perspectives of people that like they've never left in a way, or which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I am very independent since I'm very young. Like
quickly,
since I was 16, obviously I was underage. So I was staying with a host family. So I lived with them for the first year, and they were legally responsible for me in that year. But then once I turned 18 and I went to uni, that's it. And even during that year, they were very present. They were very there. But at the end of the day, they were like not 100% my parents.
Yeah.
So, but
are you still in contact with them? Because you obviously spent a year together.
I am actually. I had such a good time with them, and I'm still in contact. When I go to Belgium every couple of years and I see them.
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
Yeah, and it was crazy because I'm an only child. I only lived with my mom. And then I moved to this house. I arrive. Nobody speaks English or Spanish. I'm like, what am I doing? And they are 4 kids and the 2 parents. So this is a full house.
Wow.
And I had never experienced that, because it's only me. Like, and I remember just feeling like it was like too busy, like too hectic, too much going on. But then with time, I got used to it, and it was fun to have siblings for a while.
Did you get along with them, the kids?
Yeah, initially very different. Like they're very traditional family. They were very traditional. They still are like very traditional, very conservative. And at the time, I was a bit of a rebel. Just like going out, I always like to go out, and the kids were more like about my age, so we were close in age. So that was pretty cool. But they didn't really go out much, like. And then once I moved there, they started going out with me, and I was like, let's go, partying and stuff. And then the parents were like, you took them to the other side. But no, yeah, I have a great relationship with them as well.
And what was life like moving on from Belgium? Where did you go and what did you experience?
I went so towards the last year, I was like really not feeling very well because I just didn't like anymore what I was studying. Like the weather, it started to get to me because it was like gray all the time. Like pretty much 85% of the year is just gray. So I just wanted to go to a place where it would be sunnier, I guess, and where I would speak English more on a daily basis because I was living in French. And so I came to Australia and I moved to the Gold Coast. And because of visa situations, which I have been on visas for a very long time, I had to arrive as a student. So I did uni in Australia as well. Yeah.
How old were you at that time?
I was like 20, 21.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to Australia a while ago, actually.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that where you studied finance?
Yeah. I did business. Yeah. And then, yeah, Sydney.
And did you work in finance for how long?
About 3 years.
And how was that experience?
I feel like it's something I needed because it's like information I always wanted to learn, and I always wanted to know how to be good with money and all these kind of things because growing up, we were like in a good position, but my mom wasn't very knowledgeable in investing or these kind of things. Like we didn't really talk about that. It's not a topic that you talk about when you're a kid. I don't know, but I think it should be talked about. So finance was kind of that for me, just making sure that I have that knowledge and I can apply it on myself later on. And I did learn so much, and I do not regret having gone through like the corporate world because it really did teach me a lot. But I remember knowing that it just wasn't for me. Like the first year was fine, and then the second year I was like, I can't. And then I pushed through and I did it for a little bit longer, but I just hated it. Like I think that was the time where I was the most like unhappy, like not happy basically, because I was just doing something I didn't feel good with. Just I felt trapped basically. Yeah.
If you could zoom out and I guess review your life, when would you say you went through the most adversity?
It's been quite a few actually, I think. Yeah, because it's been, I think when you move countries and cities, you unlock different parts of yourself that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. And I think that's beautiful. But with that also comes challenge and discomfort and loneliness sometimes as well. So I would say 3 points. The first one was the last year in Belgium. I was really just not good. The second one would have been
before you go on to the second one, what was the biggest thing, or why did you know at that time that that you felt trapped or that you weren't in the right place?
It's hard, like in the moment I didn't know. I know in hindsight now, but in the moment I just knew that I wasn't feeling good. And it's funny because I was talking to one of my longtime friends a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the time in uni, and like we were talking about that year, and I was like, yeah, I was not okay that year. And he was like, well, you were sleeping a lot, I remember that. And I was just I was always tired. I was always just basically just dragging through life. And a lot happened that year. Like there were multiple things that triggered me making the choice and making the decision, okay, this is not working. I have to do something else. And basically, as I said, like I didn't like what I was studying. It just felt like I was just going against the wall, you know, and the weather was really not helping. And that was the time where my dad passed away about that year. So it all kind of piled up, and then I just wasn't okay.
Do you know what some of the feelings could you remember some of the feelings that you were experiencing in those moments?
I remember being tired a lot, just like constantly exhausted, even though I wasn't even doing that much. And I remember disassociating. Is that how you say it?
Say that again.
When you disassociate.
Disassociating.
Yes.
Disassociation. Yeah.
I still struggle with some words sometimes. I remember just feeling very out of my body. Just like when you see things from a third person perspective, I remember going
Did you
through
feel like
that.
you didn't belong, I guess? Was that kind of...
I don't think it was that. It was just, I felt like I wasn't living my own life. Yeah.
What was your relationship with God like throughout that time? Like being so young.
Yeah.
Actually, can you tell us about what your upbringing was with like spirituality, and then how it sort of developed into that time?
I think at that time, it wasn't really a thing for me, to be honest. I grew up Catholic. I went to a Catholic school, and religion was always there, but I never really felt that connection with it. I just always felt like, whatever. And I think it wasn't until I moved to Australia that I started opening up and getting more in touch with myself and getting more into spirituality. Because I wouldn't say I'm religious. I'm more into spirituality and just, yeah.
So when you were going through all those things, like in your time in Belgium, when you were going through all that stuff and your father passing away, did you turn to God at all? Or was it just...
Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I don't think so. I think if I had, I would remember.
So then in the same, you mentioned, you started to grow your spirituality. Yeah. Can you pinpoint like a pivotal moment that kind of brought you into that space?
Yeah. To be honest, I think at that time, I wasn't really into the whole spirituality thing. And what I did, which I know now again in hindsight, I just pushed things under the rug, just like, I'm okay, it's fine, let's just move forward, and I kind of just had that mentality at the time of just like, just keep moving, just keep going, and just like not fully acknowledging the feelings.
You're suppressing the emotions.
I was suppressing a lot, yeah. And I didn't realize this until later. I started doing therapy and these things started to come up, and I was like, but why am I feeling like upset? And it was like, I never even took the time to cry, I just like was like, okay, let's move forward. So I don't think that's healthy. I do not recommend doing that to anybody, because you need to feel your feelings in order to really heal and then move forward. If you just ignore them, they're still going to be there, and they're going to show up in different ways.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Have you ever pinpointed the reason why maybe you were suppressing the emotions?
That's a good question. I never thought about it, but I think maybe fear of what it would be like to deal with it. It was easier to not deal with it. So that's the thing that I think it would have been. Just not wanting to go through that hole and get down there, and then just the fear of getting really down, basically. Yeah, I think that's
and
the
also
reason
you were
why I
really
pushed
young. You were
Yeah.
really young and just
Yeah.
alone in the world.
Pretty much,
So
yeah.
it's a very unique situation. Like not a lot of people get to like have that
Yeah.
experience of,
Yeah,
you know, character building and growth.
yeah. It's different for
Bit
sure.
of a
Yeah,
defense mechanism, maybe, because you're on your own. You don't have the.
I was coping.
yeah,
Yeah, I
coping,
remember not even telling my friends when I got the call. I remember just being like, I think I just needed to process it myself first before I even told anybody, because that's kind of what I did at the time. Just
And did you process it at the time?
not at all. I just put it somewhere in a box in my brain and like locked it with like extra locks, you know.
And then over time, you
like,
just kept throwing stuff into that box.
Stay there and just keep putting things in that box, and then one day it just kind of exploded.
It happens.
So yeah.
Yeah. So and then you were about to go on to the second like pivotal moment in your life.
The second one was like heartbreak. I think, I don't know, most people I think have been there. And that was the moment where that box opened, you know, because the relationship, this was when I was in Gold Coast. So that relationship, you know, we had problems and then we broke up. And after that breakup, I remember just feeling so devastated, like so sad, like the world's gonna end. You know, how am I gonna get past this? And I think it wasn't just that breakup, it was the fact that I had been suppressing things for so long that I think mentally, physically, and emotionally, I couldn't keep doing that. And that was the trigger that opened the box. And then everything came out. And I was just overwhelmed by the way that I was feeling. And that's when I started like properly doing therapy and really dealing with all of these things that I never dealt before. So that was definitely a moment, a time frame where things really changed, because I really started to deal with my emotions and with like things that happened in the past and like everything that can come out of therapy, basically.
It's something that comes up on almost every single podcast, but we talk about like pivotal moments and, you know, some of the hardest times in your life, and we always look back and how amazing those times are, because if it wasn't for the hardest time in your life, you wouldn't have opened up that book, you wouldn't have grown. And now looking back at that time, it was the best thing that ever happened to you. And it's about like trying to capture that perspective as much as you can in the current time, knowing, hey, not to like delve to feel the emotions, but to almost look into the future and know, hey, this thing that's happening to me today is the best thing that ever happened to me.
But when you're in it,
you
cannot
it's so
see it
hard.
that way.
It's so hard.
You cannot see it that way. And when you're in it, it sucks. But I think, I don't remember who said that, but it's something like pain is the price you pay for progress. It goes something along those lines.
Spot on.
And I think that's so true, because as you said, like those moments are the ones that lead to the biggest transformations and the biggest changes that you can do. Because if you hadn't gone through that, then you would have just stayed the same. And 100%. I maybe would never open that box, and that box would just keep piling things up until then I would have gotten maybe sick physically on something, because it comes out that way as well.
Manifesting.
I believe that anyway.
No, it's definitely,
So I'm very happy that it happened at that point in time, because, you know, it's definitely improved my life massively. But at the time,
it's hard to say.
At the time, I was like, what? What's this? Yeah.
Yeah, you either grow from insight or you grow from pain. And I think early stages of life experiences lead to growth from pain. But then once you experience that once or twice, or, you know, as quick as you can develop the skill to sort of just grow from insight, because once you can get to that point, you can grow with a lot less pain. There's less to endure.
And it's about having that awareness. yeah, it's such a
100%.
big thing.
Awareness is the first step. The first. If you can't be aware of it, you can't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, and without the experiences of those adversities, you can't. It's impossible to have the awareness. So,
and also with each difficult time that you get better at dealing with it. Like if I think back of the first point, the second point, like at each time I've gotten better at like dealing with it, and it's something that I think I don't know how to define it or how to say it, but being in a regulated, state or in a mindfulness space, these kind of things, I don't think it's all about just being this peaceful person that's never bothered by anything. I think it's about how quickly you bounce back, because we all get angry at points. We all get frustrated at points. I think that's just completely human. But it's how you react and how long it takes you to bounce back and go back to your neutral, calm state.
It's the law of the universe. It's the yin yang. Without feeling bad, you don't know what it's like to feel good. If you're constantly feeling good, you'll never have that gratitude. Because when you feel bad and then you go from feeling bad to good, you have a new profound gratitude for just feeling good. So it's all the part of the balance of life.
But I think that the difficult part, and I think a lot of, like a big part that I feel a lot of people from what I see leave out, is that they take that in the moment after they had this bad moment, but then it's kind of like they forget. And then that gratefulness kind of goes away. And honestly, for me, practicing gratitude on a daily basis has been just life-changing.
Yeah, like it goes back to just having the awareness, knowing, I'm in a good state of mind now, and showing gratitude for that. A lot of people just go through their life, they're so blasé, they don't even know what they're feeling half the time. They're just in the rat race. They've got no idea what emotions they're feeling. They're just very blasé. That's when awareness comes in, and I'm not feeling that good today, and sitting in that and feeling that. And then when you're feeling good, feeling the goodness and showing gratitude for it. So it's about showing awareness no matter what state you're feeling. It's so important.
Yeah, completely. So the third point was when I was in corporate, like right after that. And again, like each time it became less strong in a way. Like there were difficult moments, but the feelings were still there. But I think it's because I knew how to handle them better. So yeah, the third point would have been that point where I was in corporate and I just didn't want to be there anymore, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really felt very lost at that time because I didn't know what to do, where to go. I was like, should I move countries again? It's like, well, that's not the answer either. You can't be running away from things all the time. So that was difficult because I felt very lost of not knowing what to do with my life. And
do you feel like you were always running away from things because like you did that at 16 and then that was sort of your...
I think I did that a couple of times, but I don't think I do it anymore. Yeah, I think definitely that was part of like a defense mechanism. But once I became aware that I did that, then I really stopped doing that. So now when I make a decision or make a choice, I really think, okay, why am I doing this? Where is this coming from? Where am I going? What feels right to me and why? So awareness.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still a work in progress, but
we all are.
Yeah.
And then when would you say, so we've gone through the adversity, and you, as you mentioned, you've gone through a spiritual transformation. Do you want to talk us through some of that experience?
Yeah. So when the whole thing that I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life happened, I was like, okay, well, what can I do to... Sometimes I'm a bit extreme with these things. So I saw this thing for a Vipassana retreat. So it's basically 10 days a silent retreat. You don't talk. You don't
repeat what it was. Sorry.
A vipassana retreat.
Yeah. Okay.
Or vipassana. Like everybody pronounces
it. Everyone pronounces
differently.
it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say the way I pronounce it is the right way. Because but yeah, so I kind of saw that and I was like, this could help, right? Like this sounds like it would help me figure out what I want to do with my life. And I did it. So it's basically 10 days where it's a silent retreat. You can't talk, you can't have any distractions. So it's not like, okay, let's go on a retreat, I'll take my books and I'll read. Like you couldn't take a book, you couldn't take anything really, just you and yourself and your thoughts. That's it. For 10 days. And I had
That's where the real transformation happens.
That was massive for me. Yeah. Because if you think about it, like when was the last time you spent a day or two without your phone? And I don't mean without your phone, you left it in the table, but you were having a good time with your friends, having a barbecue or something. I mean, without your phone and without anything going on around you, just you by yourself. And I don't think that happens very often.
Was there other people there with you? Like, what's the experience? I really want to get into this.
Yeah.
So, like, go through it day 1, day 2, and what's the experience? Where are you? Who's there?
Yeah.
What are you eating? How do you communicate? Like,
it was so full on because I'm very like go kind of person. So it was hard. Like the first few days were difficult. So the way it works is they separate you into men and women. So you have separate. You're in the same retreat space, but they separate the spaces. Even the nature part where you can go on walks, it's only like women and men. So that's kind of like the first thing. The second thing is no distractions at all. You can take anything with you. No, obviously no phone, no books, nothing. And then you meditate multiple times a day. Basically what you're doing the whole day is meditating. So
who indicates when you meditate? Like if you can't speak to anyone, how does that happen?
They have like a bong sound.
Yeah, wow.
That like wakes you up. It was like 4:30 a.m. wake up.
Yeah.
And then we did the first meditation at 5 a.m. for like an hour. And then each day had kind of like a teaching or a lesson of the day that you at the end of the day, we had kind of like a presentation of someone speaking, but no one can talk.
Okay.
Like only the person that's giving the presentation that's talking about the learnings of the day and reactivity and all these things. And yeah, it was like you have no other choice but to listen to yourself.
Coming into the retreat, had you ever meditated before? And I guess if you were coming in as a person that had never meditated, do they teach you how to meditate? Like a lot of people say, oh, I don't know how to meditate. Do they
They teach you how to meditate.
Yeah, well.
Which I thought I knew how to meditate. It's like, yeah, I know this. No, I didn't. I've only done like guided meditations before. So, you know, the app, Calm or something. I always did like my 10, 20-minute meditation, guided, and, you know, sat there for 15 minutes, maybe a few times a week. But I never really sat and meditated for 1 hour. I didn't know what that was like. And this wasn't just 1 hour. It was like a 2-hour meditation in the morning. Then you had like a breakfast break. So they cook everything for you. Everything is vegan and yeah.
Are you sitting down or laying down for the meditation?
You're sitting down.
Wow.
So how does that go for 2 hours?
Right. Right. That's my thoughts exactly.
Oh my God.
Again, you could
like you'd start to get pains and aches.
You can always like walk out, but the rule was kind of if you're not. They had like a main, temple where you go and meditate. Yeah. So the sessions were there. If you didn't want to be there, you could meditate in your room or just go to your room. But then again, there was nothing else to do. So if you go to your room, you lay there, I don't know, sleep, do something else, but you can't in the times of meditation, you couldn't go outside and just lay in the sun. You know what I mean? It was more, the meditation part was taken very seriously. And that's when I learned how to meditate because because of what you're saying just exactly right now. I was like, well, how do you sit there for 2 hours? Like, how? And the whole point of this was learning to observe and not react. And when you meditate for that long, the first few days, I couldn't stay still. Like, I had to switch my positions every 10 minutes, you know. I couldn't stay like this in the same position for more than 10 minutes. I had to change my feet, something, because it can be painful. Uncomfortable, your leg goes to sleep. And then as the days went by.
How many days?
I think in order to maybe 4 days. Okay. After the 4th day, I was able to do it. And I was so proud. I was like, oh, I got to sit for longer. But it really...
What did you experience on that 4th day?
What I really understood was the whole concept of observe and not react. You sit there, you feel the pain, you feel your leg is going to sleep, you feel your back is like, what the fuck are you doing sitting for, this long? But the whole point is not reacting. And that comes not only from your mind, but from your body. If you can teach your body to not react, you can teach your mind to not react. And you can teach yourself to not react and to just feel first. And to be honest, I used to be reactive, like back when I was young. But now I still have moments where I react, but not badly, not because I think that time really taught me that, of just sitting and I got to sit there for 2 hours and not move, even though I was feeling my leg asleep and I was uncomfortable and my back hurt. So
when I first got into meditation, the first time I feel like I broke through that barrier and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm here, and I felt consciousness. I started to self-diagnose myself. And at the time I was young, I had some bad habits. I wasn't in a good place in my life. And I really started to self-diagnose myself and go through, start to look at myself as a third person and work out where my life was going wrong and what I needed to do and things and the direction I needed to go in.
Yeah.
Did you at any point have that experience?
I did. Yeah.
And what was that like?
It was like a light bulb. It was just a moment of clarity that came after. It really is, I'm going to say magical. It's magical what happens when you don't have your phone for 10 days. Your dreams are so vivid. You become so clear with yourself, your thoughts. It's like you can actually listen to yourself. And just having that time of silence really got me to the point where I just knew what I wanted to do, and having those moments of realization of, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like this is what I want to do. So that's the moment where I decided I wanted to do breath work as a career.
After the Vipassana retreat?
Yeah.
What was the first moment with breath work for you? Like, when was the pivotal moment in the breath work? Was it the first time you ever done it?
The first time was the strongest moment. The first time was an experience where I was like, wow, this really makes a difference. It did for me anyway.
What breath work was it? Like, what technique was it that first time?
I did it was a workshop thing. So it lasted 4 hours, and it wasn't 4 hours just breathing, but you talk, then you connect with other people, then you do a full hour of breath work. They use multiple techniques. I don't remember exactly which ones because at the time I really didn't know much about it, but it was the time when I didn't know what to do with my career, and I just was like, you know what, I might as well try this. For me, it was just something I saw on Instagram, and I was like, let's give it a go. And I went there and I felt so much lighter after that workshop. I felt 10 kilos went off my back. And I was like, okay, this can really make a difference. It's not permanent. you do need to work. You do need to do the work on yourself and ask yourself the difficult questions. But it was a tool that I found extremely helpful. Yeah.
Did it unlock a hidden truth inside your subconscious?
I think the truth that kind of came out of that was the whole external validation thing. And I felt like I had taken that into my career path. The whole going into finance, you know, it sounds good when you say this is what I do for a living, and this whole thing that society puts you in a box and they're like, okay, you do this, so you're this type of person. You do that, so you're that type of person. And I don't know if it's because I grew up in different countries or like, I really don't know the reason, but I never felt like I was just, and I think this applies to a lot of people. We all have dualities in ourselves and we all have different interests and different passions. And some people are more narrow than others. Some people are very, you know, one thing, and I always wonder how, or I always ask myself, like, how are this person knows what they want to do since they're 7 and they go on and they do it and that's what they do their whole life. I could never identify myself with that. So yeah, I think it unlocked that part of, I was just doing this for external validation, for putting myself in this box that I thought was a good box.
Whose expectations were you living out at that time?
I think just society in general, and also like my mom. Like my mom is a lawyer, and my dad was a lawyer. I came from like 2 lawyers, you know. So in my upbringing, it was very much traditional in that way that there was no questioning whether I was going to uni or not. I was going to uni 100%. It was never asked, is there something else you would like to do that doesn't involve uni? I think it's also at the timing. I think this was 10 years ago. It's different to, I feel like now it's a lot more accepted. There's a lot more things going on with like social media, and we have a lot more access to everything. But at the time, social media wasn't really like a thing yet. And I think I never even got to ask the question if I wanted to go to university. Like it was the only way to go. So I think, definitely parents' upbringing. And then...
How long ago was that for Vipassana retreat?
That was January 2023.
I feel like I've heard about the retreat many times and I've wanted to do it, but I feel like I've just talking to you, I've had a bit of a revelation, because I feel like looking at your story and hearing it, people go their entire lives with so much stimulus, so much stimulation.
We're so overstimulated.
From growing up, kinder, primary school, high school, your parents, TV, traffic, school, everything. Friends. There's so much stimulation. You almost go your whole life not being you. You're always like trying to be that person for that person. Your parents want you to be this. Don't go on the table. Don't sit on the couch. There's so many things. You're never truly
really
just
stop.
being you.
Yeah.
And I feel like hearing your story, I was like, wow, like I've always wanted to do that retreat.
Yeah.
I didn't know why. And now I feel like I've come a long way in my spiritual journey, but I've never just been me for like longer than a meditation or an hour or 2 or walking in nature. But for 10 days, I feel like it's like that's the first time you become you. You got no one's there, no stimulation, no traffic, no parents, no cars, no uni, and you're just being you.
And you don't have anything influencing your thoughts, which happens a lot. Like if we see something on your phone, maybe you think about something that day or the next day, but it might come from that thing that you saw on your phone.
Wow.
If you have a conversation with a friend, maybe you have another thought that comes from that, and so on. So being in silence for that amount of time, honestly, and you don't have to be that extreme, you know, like I know that sounds extreme for a lot of people. There are places that do silent retreats for 3 days, 4 days. I do think that something else unlocks when you do a longer time. I do think that I only got to the unlocking part like after the 4th day. I was like, wow, okay.
Everyone who's done it says that the monkey mind slows down after about 3 to 4 days. Most people experience that.
For me, it was the 4th day.
Yeah.
I really felt it then.
Can you pinpoint any I know overall it was amazing. Can you pinpoint any profound experiences at the time? Like is there any one that really sticks out where you had a revelation?
I had multiple revelations because also this is another thing with this kind of retreats. I feel some people, like at least at the time that I was there, we kind of like some people left, they were like struggling. Some people go into bad trips in a way, you know, because they've never been with themselves. And some people are just like not okay with themselves. And when I did this, my career was the kind of thing that I wanted to unlock, like what to do with my life in that sense. But I was in a space, in a place with myself that I was good with myself. You know, I wasn't in a bad place with myself as a person. And I had a good experience, but I think that if you go there if you're at a point where you're very upset, I know you just had a breakup and you just want to do this to feel good after this, it might not happen like that. But
attention and awareness, and you come in with an intention. Yeah. I feel like that you went in there with the intention of career and you had the awareness.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people struggle with that awareness.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the only way you'll tap out if you're like you've got no direction or no awareness into why you're there.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be a massive struggle. Yeah.
It's not easy. Honestly, the first 3 days I was fidgeting a lot and like, okay, well, meditate more, like again. We've done this like the whole day, but are we gonna keep doing this?
Was it more than just fidgeting?
I am by nature, I think I'm very type A personality. Like I like to feel like to be productive. I always feel like, and this probably comes from upbringing as well, but I always feel the need of being productive, of doing something. And those first 3 days, I was really fighting that because you can't do anything. You just have to be there. You just have to be present, you know? And I was just thinking, okay, I have to do this, that. Like I kept having these thoughts in my mind of all the things that I needed to do, how I was going to do them, like how I was going to plan to do them. And I was just not really being in the moment. I just kept fidgeting in that way that my thoughts kept like coming and going.
Was there moments where you cried?
I didn't cry.
At all?
At all.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like if I went 3 days with no phone, I'd be bawling my eyes out at some point.
People cry, for sure.
Because you would imagine that it would bring out so many suppressed emotions, essentially.
It's normal to cry. A lot of people cry. I don't know. I didn't cry. I think whatever I was dealing with wasn't something that made me sad. It was just.
What about happy cries?
I didn't have a happy cry, but I did have revelations. I had the whole breathwork thing was literally a moment, like a light bulb that came.
Had you already done breathwork?
Yeah, I had already done breathwork, but I've never even considered to do that as a career. You know, it never even crossed my mind. And it was a moment of like, this has been super helpful for you, and this helped you so much. Like, what's stopping you from using it to help other people do the same?
I could speak about this retreat for the next 2 hours, but so how what was life like coming out of that, and what's been your spiritual practice
That's
since?
Another one. Yeah. Coming out of it was so weird. Like coming back to normality. Everything felt quite loud. The first day, I felt a bit overwhelmed by the noise because you're in so much silence. This is in a mountain in the middle of nowhere where you can only see trees and mountains and people around you, but everyone is in silence and only 2 people speak, which are the people that are giving the talks at the end of the day.
Are they monks or just?
One was a monk. The other one was kind of the person that organized the whole thing. So So coming out of it was super weird. But I did take meditation more seriously since that retreat. I do it more often, and like I don't do it every day because I do have days where I just miss it, but I do want to get better with it. But my meditation really improved since I did that.
You still do the same meditation practice that you learned at the Vipassana retreat?
Yeah, not all the time. I change I change it up. Sometimes I do guided, sometimes, but now I can, like sometimes I just go somewhere in nature and sit and meditate for however long it feels right, which is something I would have never done before. You know, like what?
Yeah, me and Jonathan,
That's what we were doing before we came here.
Oh, really?
We've been trying to
They look at each other.
We've been trying to make a conscious effort every single day to just
that's so cool.
Go out in nature and just stop and be aware and think about your breath and slow down. So it's something that we've just we try and do it, but now we're like holding each other accountable.
I love that.
Because you know, when you're on your own, you kind of just give yourself slide. But if I'm not feeling it, he'll push me. If he's not feeling it, I'll push him. And
I love that.
Yeah, we just spent. I think we got lost in it. We almost came late to the podcast because we did an hour and we're just like, oh shit, we told her we're going to be early. So it's powerful.
That's amazing.
It's
I feel like everybody should try doing that because the feeling after is just, I don't know, so peaceful.
We everyone that now we get on the podcast, and if they're not into meditation, we really we try and push them towards it because we know how powerful it is and how much it can change your life. So it's something 100%. That we really do. Like we say, similar to not doing 10 days in silence. People don't even do 20 minutes. People go their whole lives with so much stimulus. Like from some people go 80 years without 20 minutes
stopping.
Just stopping and thinking about their own thoughts, you know. So it's such a powerful practice and it's amazing that you got into it.
Yeah, I honestly think everybody, I know some people are very, not against it, but they're like, oh, like that's not for me. I don't do that. And it's like, well, have you tried it? Like, of course, like everything in life, the beginning is gonna suck. Like learning a language, the first few months, it's so boring. You just have to learn words and grammar and how to put things together. Like that's not fun. That's the beginning is not fun. The fun part comes after you start mastering it, because you see the progress, because you can talk to someone else, because you can hold a conversation in that language. That applies, I think, to most things. Same if you're learning to play, I don't know, tennis or a sport, the beginning is not going to be, you're barely going to hit the ball. And same goes with meditation. I think the beginning is not great. You struggle to quiet your thoughts and calm down your mind. And sometimes that still happens even after you've done it for a long time. That happens a lot. That's the whole point of it, right? But after you've done it for some time, you understand it better, and then you're able to manage it better and to just get more into it. And maybe the first day you get into it for 20 seconds, and the second day for 2 minutes, and then the third day 10 minutes, and then you go back to 2 seconds because you had a difficult day or something. So it's practice.
Yeah, and it's a journey. Like different times of your life, you're going to be going through different things.
Yeah.
So like sometimes it's way harder to drop in to that state,
sure.
but sometimes it's just easier. But
life gets busy.
It's a tool. Like it's a tool that's there for you to use, you know, and just connect.
Yeah. And like that's why I found breath work worked so well for me, because with meditation, I think a lot of people can relate to this. I really struggled to just quiet my mind. I was just thought after thought after thought. And you're like, just stop, you know? But I found that really hard. So I think meditation is like mind to body. So you go from calming your mind to then calming your body. Breath work is body to mind. So you're not telling your mind anything with breath work. You're just telling your body, okay, this is how you're breathing. Start, stop, begin, 4 seconds here, 6 seconds there. So you start with your body, and then that you don't realize, and then your mind comes. So that's, I think, the key thing that made breath work so big for me.
Yeah, the body and the mind are so connected, like way more than anyone ever thinks. So
Yeah.
So like if I'm feeling stressed, even the smallest bit of stress gives me the smallest bit of back pain. A lot of stress gives me a lot of back pain.
Yeah, okay.
And it's the same thing. It's almost like it's the same thing. Whether I meditate to calm the mind and calm the body, or if I, do yoga and movement, calm the body to then calm the mind. It's a two-way thing, but it's ultimately the same thing. They influence each other.
They definitely do. They're interconnected.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's different as well. So you have to try the things, you have to try all of the tools and then see which one works best for you, and then take that one and make it your primary one. You can still use the other ones, but see what works better, and then...
And it's not limited to, like, for me, sometimes meditation works, sometimes I can't. And yoga does, or breath work works, or it's always different. It's good to just be well equipped with all the tools.
100%.
So you can, because sometimes the state of mind you're in, you just can't calm the mind.
Yeah.
But if you start moving the body, it will calm the mind. So
100%.
there's different techniques for different times.
Yeah.
Would you say that like after that Vipassana and the breath work sessions around that time, that was probably the start of your spirituality?
It wasn't the start. I think it started before that, but that was the pivotal moment where I really made a change in the way I thought, in the way that I communicated to myself. I think, I talk to myself all the time. And I think that was a pivotal moment where I just started to see things differently. I think I've always been a very positive person. Like that's always kind of the way I've been. I've always tried to see things in a positive light. So that didn't change, but it just got stronger.
I feel like for me personally, and I feel like it correlates to a lot of people, the spiritual journey kind of starts, and I know it's a very random thing, with what you put inside you, like what you're eating, what your diet's like.
Yeah.
Did you find the deeper you got into your spirituality, the better your diet became?
100%. Like 100%. As I said, I've always been a positive person, but I think now I'm not only positive, but I truly believe, and it gets a bit woo-woo, right? But I think I truly believe in the universe, and that things are there for you. You just need to be open to receiving them. And I think that's something I didn't have before. I just wanted something, but I feel like I wasn't ready to receive. I didn't know how to receive a lot of the times. So that
frequency,
changed.
the law of vibration, the law of attraction.
So I think that's huge. And I've seen it. I've seen it with myself, with the way my life is going, and the way that, obviously nothing is perfect, but I do feel a lot more at peace with the way everything is. Like if something goes wrong, like I really don't see it. I don't catastrophize, which is something that I think I used to do way before. That something bad happened, and then you're like, you start spiraling. Like, oh, I don't know, my tire got flat, and then your coffee spills, and then this continues to happen because you're telling yourself, oh, I'm having a bad day. Now I really don't see things that way. If something bad happens, I see it as a singular thing that happened, and it doesn't mean that my day is going to be bad if my tire went flat. I just deal with it, take a deep breath. If I'm late for something, I just call the person, like, hey, look, this happened. Like, it's not that big of, things are not that big of a deal as we sometimes make it to be.
It goes back to what you said before, like it's all about how quick you bounce back.
Yeah.
And now you've got the skill to just bounce back really quick. I heard a thing once where the top 5 tennis players, the reason why they were able to be so elite was purely the fact that after a bad shot, it was how quick they could have a positive thought after a bad shot.
Because they can go on negative thinking, and then they lose. They end up missing the whole game because
and that's what differentiates like the top, say 10 to the top 5.
Like, isn't that wild? It's all in our mind.
Yeah.
It's all in our mind.
So you went from finance to the polar, I feel like opposites.
The polar opposite. Like, people at work were like, just, you went crazy.
So where do you aspire to take that journey now? What's in the cards?
I wanna take it to the next level. Of course, there's a few things I'm working on at the moment, and I would love to do retreats and things like that involve more people and beautiful locations and things like that. But yeah, one step at a time. Yeah. I just moved to Melbourne. So
how long have you been in Melbourne for?
2 months.
Oh wow, welcome.
Yeah, so I'm kind of
how are you
just
liking it?
Taking it in first, and I am actually really liking it. Yeah.
You're here for good weather. Wait till it turns to Belgian
Everyone
weather.
told me that. All my friends in Sydney were like, where are you going to do that? Like, just let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens. You know, you never know if you don't try it. So I'm really enjoying my time here. And I have met very amazing people. And it's not been that long. And I just feel like I feel very at home already. So
what are you doing at the moment? Like, what are you doing for work? And
I'm working as a breathwork instructor at Haven, and I do translation and interpretation work as a freelancer. So a bit of combination, but yeah.
Where is that, like over the phone?
No, like with the computer.
Oh, okay.
Like it's translating documents that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did a certification in Australia for translation and interpretation. So I'm certifying that, and I never really used it before because at the time I just did it because I needed my visa to extend my visa, the whole thing, the paperwork, and then I recently was like, well, I have this, I might as well use it.
Everything happens for a reason.
So yeah.
Are you still on a visa?
Yeah. But getting there. PR is coming this year, so knock on wood.
What does PR mean?
Permanent residency.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's not an easy journey, but it's a great place to be. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So what is? Do you have a morning routine?
I do. I would like to be better with it though. I was thinking about this today because I feel like it's hard to find the right spot for the morning routine because sometimes with work, my work is different every day. So I don't have a 9 to 5. So sometimes I start at 7 a.m. Sometimes I start at 11. Like my day is each day is very different, which I like because the 9 to 5, it's not for me. I hated having the same day every day. You know, it just didn't work for me. So I like that this is the way that it goes for me. But that makes it a little bit more difficult with having like a morning routine.
It's about discipline.
That's the same every day. But so I was actually thinking about this today because it's like, okay, I need something that that I can still maintain regardless of what my day is. And I think with morning routines, I've been on this boat of overcomplicating it. Of like, okay, I have to, like take the sunlight in the morning and then like cold shower and then this and then that. And then you end up with like 20 things. And you're like, okay, well, that's my whole day basically. Yeah. So I saw this thing that I want to start implementing. Literally today I was thinking about this. And it's like not taking more than 30 minutes on the morning routine. So split it in 10, 10, and 10. So stretching, I think stretching is so good, like in the morning. So 10 minutes stretching, 10 minutes doing breath work or meditation, and then a bit of journaling, because I feel like journaling in the morning, it doesn't have to take long, honestly. I just do it for like 5 minutes, and it just puts me in that mindset for the day of like, okay, we're gonna have a good day. It's gonna be a good day, and then you can brain dump anything like that's going in your mind that's you might need to just let it out. So I find doing that in the morning very helpful. But I wasn't doing that every day. So one day I would journal, one day I stretch, one day I meditated. So now I just want to condense to these 3 things because overall, they're the 3 things that I think that make a good morning routine for myself.
I feel like breaking down a morning routine, it's just about giving yourself that time and saying, hey, I'm in control today.
Yeah.
It's not about waking up to an alarm, then rushing to your car, eating breakfast in the car, all the stimulus. It's about waking up and saying, hey, I'm in control today.
Completely.
I'm going to control my day. And how you start your day, the energy of that will flow on through the rest of your day. You know? So if you're starting your day, you're running to your car, eating a breakfast bar in the car, rushing to work, in traffic, your whole day will flow onto that.
And you haven't taken the
people are doing that for 5 days of the week. Every day is mayhem. But if you take that 10 minutes to say, hey, I'm in control today, it'll change. I know it's that 10 minutes changes your whole life.
Yeah.
Because you're not repeating the same thing 5 days of the week, and then you'll become fight or flight. You're just always rushing.
Yeah.
It's just about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Hey, I'm in control today, and the day's going to be good. You know, that's all it really takes.
And I don't know about other people, but rushing is the worst thing ever. Like that's the
So
worst
you,
way to start your day. That's the worst the worst way of
spikes your insulin.
Because you're just like, you go into this like fight or flight mode, and then you're just running, and that gets you doesn't get you anywhere. It's just So I think finding whatever works for you, and then just do 10-20 minutes of that. For me, definitely journaling and meditating in the morning it's key. I do have better days when I do that. Yeah.
Amazing.
I try to train in the morning, but depending on work, sometimes I can't do that. So
what does train mean? Like, what do you do?
Pilates, weights, and running. Those are like my main 3 things. So at the moment, I'm running quite a bit because I'm running a half marathon next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Wish me luck because I haven't been training as much as I should have. But so I alternate. I think something that didn't work for me in the past was that I was too rigid with my plans. So I was like, okay, I'm running this day and Pilates this day and weights this day. And I was too structured. I guess that's the way to say it.
Yeah.
And then if I missed that workout and I didn't do that, then I just didn't feel good. And then now I know the main 3 things that I do, which is running, Pilates, and
running,
went out of my head.
and weightlift.
Yeah,
weightlifting.
and gym, basically. Yeah. And so I try to balance them out, but I try to allocate days for it. But if I don't feel like running one day, then I'll do Pilates that day. You know, like it's okay to be flexible. It's okay to go with, your feels. I do like cycle sync my workouts as much as I can as well. Because for girls, that's a thing. Like you do have more energy at some points than others, depending on your cycle. So implementing that into my training has been really good as well. Just knowing that maybe there's 1 week where I'll do lower impact training, but I'll still be doing something to move my body. So yeah.
Do you have any little life hacks that you could share for other people to benefit from?
I honestly think cycle syncing for girls is like, that's huge. Like that's...
Sorry, what is cycle syncing?
Cycle syncing is
Menstrual
basically
cycle?
going with your menstrual cycle. And our hormones change throughout the cycle, and we do feel different ways throughout it. So we have different phases.
What are the phases?
There's follicular phase, luteal phase. I can't really pronounce them,
yeah,
but
that's okay.
basically, the first week, like you had your period, and the first week you're gonna have more energy. The second week, the energy is gonna stay high. The third week, your energy drops, so you get more tired. You need more sleep. You need to take more care of yourself. The days just before your cycle, like same. You need to slow down, like listening to your body, which is something I didn't do before. I was like, okay, I'm going to the gym 4 days a week. I'm doing this training. I'm putting all this, I'm like lifting this weight. I'm increasing the weight. And I did not cycle sync at all. And that's something that's very designed for men. It's that whole training program things mostly with gym things, that's very much designed for men. Like that doesn't take into account the woman's cycle. So for me, that's been massive. So now I know, I track it, and whenever I'm in those like slower weeks, I'm not to harm myself. Like I am still gonna train. I'm still gonna do something for moving my body, but I'm not gonna go and lift the heaviest thing that day. And that's been something that's been really positive for me. Like
So is it 2 weeks of harder training and 2 weeks of softer training?
pretty
sort
much,
of?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You can push to 3 weeks of normal and 1 week where you really just slow down.
I feel like that's a not a common awareness, and I could be wrong, but I feel like
It's
not many
not.
people are consciously making those
Yeah.
decisions. So hat off to you.
I've never heard about it.
I think a lot of these things are just designed for men, because that's kind of a lot of the studies, a lot of the data comes from studies that's been done on guys mostly. So I feel like it's getting better now, and there are studies and things that are taking more women into accountability for this. But that's definitely something that has helped me massively, because I used to go on guilt trips of like, oh, I didn't train today. Like I'm so tired. Like I overslept, you know. And sometimes you do need more sleep. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, something super random, and I'm sure you know about this, but what's your perspective on how two women, if they're hanging out together, their cycles sync? Like what even is that? And how does that
that's
happen?
a thing.
Do you even know? Like,
I don't know how that happens, but I know it happens because it has
So
happened to
random.
me and my friends. That
Yeah, wow.
with my flatmate, it used to happen. Yeah, and I know that's a thing. I don't know
So
how. I don't know
weird, yeah.
the science
Okay.
behind that, but yeah, I think cycle syncing, breath work, and meditation. Honestly, that's made massive difference. Definitely massive hack, and it doesn't have to take long. What else would I say? Just moving your body. I think I know we hear that all the time, but it's for a reason. It's true. If you're feeling like sad, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling any negative emotion, you go for a walk, for a run, you spend some time moving in nature or at the gym or whatever. I promise you're going to feel at least 5% better after you do that than what you felt before.
Yeah.
So I think those three things, like movement and mind, basically, and putting that together.
I know females collectively experience like deficiencies. Is there
Yeah.
something you've experienced with mineral deficiencies or anything like that?
Massively. I have iron, low iron. So
And is that, do
That's
you know
horrible.
why? Is it iron or ferritin?
for me, it's iron.
Yeah, okay.
So that I'm not sure why, it just happens sometimes.
And how do you tackle it?
I go through times where I take the supplements, the iron supplements. I try
Do they
not to do it
work?
all the time. They help, but it's not like a massive difference, but they do help. But if you really do nothing, it's bad. Like one time I literally thought I was being lazy. I was like, oh, I'm so lazy. Like, why I keep like not missing the training or whatever, and so tired. And I went to the gym and I almost fainted. I was doing squats and I literally I had to sit down. It was like kind of like fainting, the closest I've been to fainting. And then I went to the doctor after that, and they were like, they did the blood test, and my iron was so low that I had to do an iron infusion that same day, because they're like, we don't know how you're existing with the iron with this level, but that's a thing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hear about it a lot. Females are
Yeah.
experiencing iron deficiency. So I just thought if you had a way to combat it,
Yeah,
be pretty
I
helpful.
take the tablets and try and keep on top of it. Like I try and do the blood test every like 6 months or something to
Do you eat meat?
see.
Do you eat a lot of meat or not really?
I do eat more meat now
Yeah.
because look, I don't know if that makes a massive difference, but I feel better. I do feel like since I used to not eat meat very much, like maybe once every 2 weeks.
How long was that for? That phase?
That I wasn't eating much
Yeah.
meat. probably about a year and a half. And my iron was just, And then I started eating more meat, and now I struggle a lot less with that. I don't know if it's correlated or not. I know you can be vegan and still have great levels of everything. But yeah, that kind of works for me. So I just eat. Yeah.
Do you have any other like female specific hacks? Like cycle syncing? Because I feel like that's a lot of value for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think I guess like the cycle syncing would probably be the biggest one, because and I don't know if this is female only, but I feel that it's so easy to be hard on yourself with anything. If you're a person that has a vision and things in mind, and you want to do things a certain way, and there are things that you want to achieve or workouts that you want to get done, it's so easy to go in your mind and be like, oh, we are our hardest critics most times. So I think just dealing with this in a healthier way is something that's helped me a lot, like that, changing that guilting mindset to just not being hard on myself and acknowledging the situations as they come, the days as they come, and keeping in track things that might be affecting the way I feel on certain day. So yeah, I can't think of anything.
Sometimes being a little bit hard on yourself could be productive though. Like I feel like that's sort of growing from insight to an extent, because you can self-actualize and grow from whatever you're doing. So sometimes like a bit of being hard on yourself can be healthy too.
I get what you mean. Yeah, you can push a little bit more. I think there's this one thing that's like you can be happy and not satisfied at the same time, and I think that's the happy middle. Yeah. Because you can be happy with the progress that you've made or something that you've done, and not have that complete satisfaction, and that's not having that satisfaction is what pushes you to then do more and do better. Because and this is where the guilting mindset change happens. It's not because I'm not guilting myself that I'm not going to do more, because I'm still not. If I'm missing, like if I'm not doing something I said I would do, I am not satisfied with myself. But I don't let that make me feel guilty or not happy. Like I'm happy. I'm not satisfied with that, but like that they don't have to go together. And I think like a lot of people mix that. It's like, oh, I can't, like I didn't do this. I think that can totally be separated.
And I feel like it's different for males and females too. I feel like the masculine and the feminine, I feel like males probably feel less happy if they're not satisfied. Like, as in, if we're not putting in the work, not only are we dissatisfied, we're unhappy. I feel like it's harder for males, or for me anyway. I feel like if I'm not satisfied with what I've completed or what I've done, then I feel like I'm not happy. I feel like I can't do the two. Like, but I feel like it's a superpower.
That's
too,
exactly the way that, because I was telling you, I'm very type A personality, go. I gotta be productive, and I definitely always experience that. No, I still do experience that, but I just try and manage it in a healthier way.
Yeah,
that's it. But I think that's more a personality thing rather than a gender thing.
Potentially,
because some girls are not like this, some guys are not like that. So true. I think it's a personality more than anything.
Yeah, with there's a fine line with the male and female things. There's like, because what you do day to day as a female and as a male affects your hormones a lot, like more than we realize. So even sometimes for a female, if she's out there, dominating, making money, all that sort of stuff, it raises testosterone levels, and it affects, it becomes like in hormone imbalances. And same thing with men. If a man isn't out there, grinding, striving, struggling, then it's a similar sort of thing. That's where we get our testosterone from. So
it's definitely a thing. Yeah.
Also food, but I think hormones are very correlated to like things that we're doing and daily habits, and
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like learning to know yourself and learning to know what works better for you and what doesn't. And doing this constant, like, another hack, you were talking about hacks that works for me a lot is taking life in quarters. This is like my type A part of the brain where I'm just like, okay, like, let's put the logic into things and see how I can improve as a person and in my life and in my career overall. So I do like a self audit every 3 months, like every quarter. So you know how this applies for a lot of businesses, a lot of, I guess that comes from the finance part of my life. But I apply that to my personal life. So every quarter I have an audit and I take it very seriously, guys. Like, I go through everything and I answer I have this template where it's like all the questions: what worked, what didn't work, write it down. What are the learnings? What did you learn these past 3 months? What's something that you're taking on to the next quarter? What's something that you're totally leaving behind because you tried it, but it didn't work for you? It might work for other people, but that doesn't mean it has to work for you as well. Then also with goals and things like that, I'm a very goal-driven kind of person. Like, the reason I'm doing half marathon is because that's the best way to get me to run, because I need to have something, which is, I don't know if it's a good thing. That might not be the healthiest thing, but I am very goal oriented. So if I have something to look forward to as a goal, as a challenge, I will do more, I will do better. And that's part of knowing yourself. Like, I've gotten to know myself better, and I know that's the way that I do my best. So why not do it that way? So I apply this with the audits. So I kind of see my goals, see what goals I am closer to, which ones I'm furthest, which ones I'm concentrating more and less for the next quarter kind of thing. And I think one of the things that I used to struggle with, I still do struggle with this, is trying to do too much at the same time. Trying to cover too many things at the same time and then end up not doing any of them properly. And then you just half-assing all these things. So that's something that I've learned with these audits that I do on myself, because I think tracking yourself, and it's the only way that you know. If you're not tracking, if you're not auditing yourself, how do you know? How do you know what you're doing well? How do you know what you're not doing well? So for me, that's been massive. And now I try to do less things, but more of. So that might mean that I there's something I really want to do, but maybe it doesn't have that much of a priority in the things that I want to do. Then I do it on another quarter. But then this quarter, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm focusing in. By the end of it, I can tangibly say if I accomplished something or didn't, because I put it in that like sheet and I wrote it down there, and I will re-audit myself again in those 3 months. So
I love that concept. I really do. That's amazing.
Self-auditing.
I'm guessing, did you take that from finance, or how did that come about?
I kind of did. Yeah. I think, that part of my life, for sure, I had to be very like organized with everything. And I love organization. I love, like, I do breathwork, but I also love spreadsheets. I love putting everything in. Combo. I do my own like budgeting and my own things. So I found a lot of these things are also these practical tools I can apply for my personal life and for everything really, because you're tracking yourself. So I think that's, I know some people don't even set goals for the year, but I don't know, like I'm a very much like, there's this book, the 12-week year, I think it's called. I forgot the author, but I got that from that book as well, because you get that high, in January, everyone's like, yes, like I'm going to get fit, I'm going to thrive, I'm going to do this business, I'm going to start, and then like by end of Feb, everyone's just like, and I think having this 12-week rhythm gives you that energy back again. Like right now, I feel so motivated. I feel like, okay, let's go with everything. I just did my audit on myself. and I think doing that even gives you even more motivation, because it's like, okay, maybe something didn't work, but then you know that you have to double down on that or just let it go. It's your choice.
What is it that drives that consistency? And so I feel like so many people would say they're going to do it and just flop it and not do it and stop doing it. Like, what is it that drives that consistency and keeps that drive alive?
I think that's very internal. Yeah, I think for me that comes from a place of wanting to have a better life, wanting to be able to support my mom and my family more and be better in that way. So I think for me it comes from a family kind of perspective of doing better for myself and for my family. And yeah, that's where it comes from for me.
I love that. It's so good on you.
And I love just having everything organized. And I think there's so much that comes from progress. When you can feel yourself progressing, it's such a beautiful thing. And I think we don't acknowledge that sometimes because we're so into the day to day that I feel like it's important to acknowledge the little things.
Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying.
And I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you training for this half marathon with a friend, or are you doing it on your own?
I am doing it with a couple of friends.
Yeah,
so we're not training together because it's in Sydney. So I'm going there. But we keep each other motivated. Yeah, we do. It's like, oh, I didn't do my run today. And then, yeah, we have a chat and then we just try and do. It's good to have other people to do it with because I feel like that pushes you a little bit more as well.
You said relationships was a big part of your, just your independence.
Yeah.
Have you made some good friends here in Melbourne?
I have met some friends. Yeah, it's early days as well because I feel like friendships is something that you build. But I've definitely met a few people that I've connected very well with, because you can meet a lot of people, but it's hard to meet to the person that you connect with, and you can just get along like that. So I have a few. Yeah, I'm open to more, universe. But yeah.
Was there a deep relationship that taught you more about who you really are?
I think, yes, definitely. I think with like romantic relationships, I think they do that. I think there's no escaping that. When you're in a relationship, you definitely learn more about yourself because the other person tells you. So you have someone that's present for a lot of it. But I think with friendships as well, you learn what kind of friend you are. And yeah, and definitely there are things that I have become aware of myself because of my friendships. Because there are things that I think if you have a really strong friendship, you can communicate these things that the other person might do or that you might do that maybe they're not that great, and then you can be like, oh, I didn't realize I did that. And I think that's why relationships, whether friendships or romantic relationships, they're so important, because that's the fastest way you learn about yourself, because everybody sees you differently, of course, and you have to be clear on who you are as a person, but there are little things that you can definitely learn from other people, like that they tell you, basically, things that they tell you.
If your breath could tell you something, tell your 16-year-old girl about to board the plane, something, what would it whisper?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think it would just say, no, I don't want to say something so basic, but like trust the process. Like it's so cliche. I cringe just saying it. I honestly am cringing at myself, but it's so true. It's so true, because the moment you know that things are coming for you, you stop putting the pressure on the timing, because some things you you visualize, or I do sometimes, certain things happening at certain timings. And sometimes they don't happen that way. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's something completely different. But sometimes they happen a lot faster. So just trust that everything that you want is there for you. You just have to choose to believe that that's the case. Just believe it. I would say just really work on believing in yourself and believing that the things that you want are there for you. Because if you don't believe, then who will, you know?
Like one of the most important things is to walk by faith and not by sight. So walk by what you see up here, not what you're seeing visually.
And that if something that you really wanted didn't happen, something better might come along. Or maybe you needed to learn something from that experience that didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. And sometimes we attach ourselves too much to certain things. And I think that's something I did when I was younger. And I would tell myself that. I would tell myself, don't attach yourself so much to the outcome, because there are learnings on the way that you always picture the things that you want, but obviously you don't picture the things that go wrong, because nobody wants things to go wrong, but that's where the learning comes from. So, yeah.
Yeah, the desire brings on the journey, but the journey is the only thing, because there is no destination.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the journey.
Being present and yeah, I know. I honestly do know that all of that sounds so cliche, but just learning to be in the moment. Stop stressing, relax, sit, enjoy, you know, breathe.
And what do you think that 16-year-old girl would want to ask you right now?
I think she would ask if I'm happy. I was so obsessed with that when I was younger, I think. Like just wanting to be happy, wanting to be successful and these kind of things. And yeah, I think she would ask that. And I am happy now. So
Would you tell
most
her that,
days, obviously.
Would you tell her that happiness has nothing to do with success?
I would actually, yeah. Yeah.
Cece, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You've had an amazing journey, and we're blessed to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
God bless.